PlanetSide 2 is definitely one of the biggest launches in the history of Sony Online Entertainment, and I think that all the people that work here have so much pride because it exemplifies the kinds of games that we want to be making, the business model we want to be able to support and promote, the type of marketing that we want to be doing, and our teams being as integrated and collaborative as they were. Everybody was having a conversation with our players, soliciting feedback from moment one. This whole thing started with a survey about what would like to see in PlanetSide 2. It's always been about engaging our fans, talking to the players. Community is no stranger to SOE. You know, we had community departments before I think the industry even knew what those were over 13 years ago at the launch of EverQuest, and it really takes every single person. It started with a big bang CG trailer that Blur made, and I just love those guys. They do phenomenal work, and Kotaku just put it on the top 10 list of trailers for the year, and that really sort of catapulted us out of E3 as a game to be recognized, one to watch, and then through our whole beta period and on the road to launch, we just kept feeding that machine and the virality and the word-of-mouth nature of it and finding things that really rang true to our players. I mean, our marketing strategy has always been at the second level. So once you have sort of an activation and awareness about PlanetSide 2, that very next layer is the empires. People are religious about these empires, and they each have such a unique, distinct personality and type of following, and to watch that rivalry happen online is really fun because people are constantly poking at one another and sort of prodding. And that's why the Empire videos were such a perfect facet to the campaign. And we didn't feel like they were something that it should lead the campaign because we needed to set up the context for what PlanetSide 2 and that massive scale. But the Empire videos were able to go a few steps deeper into what really drives that individual empire and what their matrix is and what they're all about and why they're fighting. And that's something that definitely resonates with people. And then on the opposite side, when we were able to film different outfits representing their own, they really go hand in hand. So we have the player-made videos that are their sort of vision of those empires and what they do each day on Euraxis, as well as these really high-end, polished videos that we were able to produce that kind of speak more to the mantra of the individual empires. And so in tandem, they really complete that full picture. Community feedback is always a very sort of interesting dynamic of online games because the players are the ones that are in the game every single day and know what they want out of that game experience. But we also have to align resources as a company to be able to do long-term initiatives or programs and make features that people want. And so I think that just over the years we've figured out the right recipe for that, and it really is engaging with your audience, engaging with those players to ask them, hey, does this sound right? What would you put on the list? What would you take off? This is sort of where we're thinking about going strategically with the game and how we want to evolve it, and getting their feedback along the way instead of it being all of a sudden, we're going to be soliciting it. Maybe it's a little unique from some of the other folks in the industry, but I think that we want to monetize things that people feel like there's value in. And that's really sort of the genesis of our free-to-play model, not the nickel and diming, finding ways in which people can support our business model so that we can make great games. And then the reverse is true. We really want to feed the ecosystem and allow our players to monetize from us. So creating those YouTube videos and supporting their own channel, monetize away. We love the fact that our players are going to be able to actually create a living for themselves off PlanetSide 2, and the fact is a couple of our players have actually already quit their jobs. We even have an initiative at Sony Online called Player Studio where players are creating items that are going into the game worlds and we're splitting the profits with them. So I think all of that is very indicative of where the future is going, and I hate to use the word user-generated content because it's sort of cliche, but we really see ourselves building game worlds alongside our player bases, and that involves them at every step of the way. Anybody knows who's got a lot of resources that they're managing and need to pull together. Some of it's philosophy changes and getting the right mindset about how we want to approach things, and a lot of it is the tactical day-to-day. And so I think when both of those come together at the right moment, you can do amazing things.